Hello. Hello, everyone. I think I'm live. I hope I'm live. So if I am, I'm going to just wait around a minute. Yes, I see the live feed. Yes. Hi, Christy from Norway. So glad you're here. In a creative need. Glad you're here. This is Karen Elaine, and I've taken over the Yasutomo channel because Phoebe is traveling today. And I'm just going to be doing this on my own. So the only thing, good afternoon, Vera and Maria. Yay, you found the right place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the chat. Hi, Lucy. So nice to see you. Or I can't see you, but you know what I mean. I'm so happy you're here. So I'm so glad this went smoothly as far as at least the setting it up. So I'm ready. Christine, hi, kid from Calgary. Yay. So I'm just going to give a couple more minutes for you all to come in. So there's 36 of you watching right now. Evelyn, hi, from Alaska. Oh, I'd love to be there. And Deb, yes, this is going to be fun. And Gail's here. Lynn T, hi, Lynn. And okay, so anybody that's here, please chat with each other. And I will check the chats when if there's a question, but I'm going to kind of be doing this without Phoebe, so I don't have someone reading the chat. But I'll do the best I can to answer questions as I go along. Okay, so I'm going to get started. Oh, wow, lots of people from Canada. And Tiffany, yay, Tiffany's here. So Tiffany Sharp is here. And if you all know Tiffany, she's a wonderful watercolor artist. And Kathy from New Zealand even. Now, good morning, Kathy. So glad you're here. All right, great. Well, now I'm going to get started because I do have a lot to share with you. So and if you can hear me, do like someone say, yes, I can hear you, just to make sure. If someone could answer that for me, I'm pretty sure you can hear me, but just in case you can hear me, just say, yes, I can hear you loud and clear, or if you can't hear me, I can't do sign language. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Lucy. I appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to get started. This week I've been going crazy with making greeting cards with this Mashi Hosho paper that Yasutomo has just brought in. It's a double layered Japanese washi paper. It is kind of like it's 150 GSM, so it's not quite cardstock, but it's much thicker than the normal rice paper that you would use or the washi paper. So it's got some nice body to it. And I'm going to open this up right now. Rip it open here. Now we'll just show you. It's like a cardstock, and it's 8.5 by 11. Now I noticed that mine came out a little large. They're a little larger than 8.5 by 11. So if that's the case, please trim it in your trimmer. I have to cut this here real quick. There we go. So I can get it out, and I don't want to bend the cardstock. This stuff goes through a printer fabulously. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. It's gorgeous, and I'm going to show you my samples with the paper going through the printer. Okay, so there it is in its gorgeousness. There's a smooth side and a rough side. So you'll feel when you have it, you'll feel the smooth side and the rough side. You can do art on both sides. Now let me explain. You'll get 10 sheets, 8.5 by 11 in this pack. And the item number, just in case, so you know, is 6MAH. That's the item number since I didn't write it down. And we're gonna do those birds for sure, Deb. So you get 10 sheets. And what's great about these note cards, these are A2 note cards. Okay, so let me just kind of show you what I mean. So this is kind of where I started here. A2 invitation envelopes. So they're little, like a 4 1/4, 5 3/4, something like that. Anyway, A2, that's what you want. And these cards or this piece of paper, when you slice it in half this way, and by the way, there's really no real grain on this paper, so you can fold it in either direction. I don't feel a grain not really, a little bit, but not much. So you can fold it in either direction. But what I do is I cut all of my cards in half completely, just poof in half. Okay. And then what I have is I have a little scoring tool that I use, and I score down the middle and I make all my little blanks. Now, sometimes you want, before you start creating, you can just leave them scored like this, and then you can create on them and then fold them after you're finished creating. Or you can have them ready like this, like I'm doing here. Now, I have most of my cards, when I do watercolors, I want the rough side out. Okay, so remember this, rough side out. If you want to print on them, you want the smooth side out. So let me explain, kind of, there's so much to share. So this one here, I'm going to kind of go through this little pile on my desk, and then I'm going to start demonstrating. This here is a card that I printed out, two up on my printer. This is some artwork that I scanned into my printer, into my computer. And then I just, in fact, I've got a copy here of this is another card I made, but I printed, put it in my Illustrator or whatever software you have that will put you, I think even Word will do it. You just kind of center everything and kind of play with the adjustments until you get it centered. And then what you can do is print on your full sheet of paper. So this one I printed, you can see, you get two cards on one sheet, and I think it's just so cool. So this is how the card that would have printed, okay, gone out on the printer. So that makes for a really nice reproduction of your artwork. And if you have kids' artwork or something, or grandkids' artwork, you can make some cards out of that. And the paper is very fancy. It's not like, it's got a nice off-white um, color to it. It's not really, it's like a creamy white rather than a super stark white. And then I put them in these little sleeves to protect them because I do get my smudgy hands on everything. And these little sleeves I got on clearbags.com. And let me show you. And another thing I do is I always like to do this. I like to finish my card and then I do like an envelope. I kind of paint on the envelope to match it a little bit so that it has something that kind of, so people can see what's going to be in their card. So that's kind of how I do that. And then if I make a series of them, and I'm going to show you right now, if you make a series of them, and we did this in Fodder School 1, I think, Wendy's project, but something like this anyway. But I printed out a bunch of these cards and then I did a little fussy cut focal point of something similar, and I put them on there, and now I have a nice little gift to give to a hostess or whatever, or friends. This is also the cards that I was making. I did the same thing with this just by putting a little of my artwork on. So I've got all these gift sets. You can see I've been busy this week. This one I painted a little something on front of the envelope. I like to just decorate the envelope so that they're not boring, and kind of adds to your creation a little bit. And then you see these are the birds, and we're going to do those today. I did a bunch of birds, and I'm going to make those into a little set as well. And then what I did with these is I put little birds on the front of the envelopes, just a little cute little bird, just kind of saying, peeking in and saying, hello. So here's another one, but I try to coordinate it with the color of the bird. So here's another envelope you can see with that. And then there's another one. So I'm just going to keep pulling these off the table so you can at least, I have room to show you what I'm doing. And then yesterday I had a blast I did gel printing. First, I just gel printed with the cards folded down like this and just gel printed layers of these blue colors. I just think these turned out so pretty. And then I printed out to where the gel print was not really too patterny. It was kind of a nice soft background. And then what I did was I had done some washi paper. This is using the 6H paper, which I've shown you many, many times. Many times. I just did a little stencil. I'm going to show you the stencil. Here's one of the pieces here. I'll just kind of give you an idea. I got these stencils off of Amazon, I think. And I just went over the rice paper. And what I love about putting the watercolors or paints over the rice paper, it's just easier. You get a really nice watercolor. And then I just inked over that to make these neat little focal, kind of fussy cut focal points. And then because it's such a thin material, the washi paper is so thin, I glued it onto the onto my card, and it doesn't feel like it changed the texture or the weight. It's still very nice. It kind of feels like it's part of the card, but I love these. And then I smeared because, when you're gel printing, sometimes you get blobs on your back. I just splattered, and I'm going to show you, I just splattered the back to make it look like I meant to do that. So you can cover up your boo-boos. And then another thing, I think I decorated an envelope somewhere in here. It's somewhere. Oh, there it is. That's the envelope I decorated. So I just basically took that same stencil and watercolor through it, and I'll show you that today. And made a really pretty kind of coordinated envelope. That's that series. And then this is a series that I did where I watercolored the background first with a wash of color, just a thin wash. And then I did like these little silly kind of folk art-ish looking watercolor flowers. And I used an acrylic pen to kind of make some highlights, or not highlights, but with a color. Little lines to give it some contrast. But those were kind of a struggle. And I'll tell you why they were a struggle. When you get this paper really, really wet, you can see it buckles. And I can flatten it, but I think this paper really likes more like thin washes in areas where you're not just soaking it too much with the watercolor. Like these are the ones that I really love doing. These were like some of the first pieces I did. Oh, Wanda's here and Phoebe is not. So I'm here by myself, everybody. So I'm here by myself, but I'm having fun with all of you. Now, these were just basically watercolor. Then I did an ink drawing over it. And then this one was an ink drawing first and then a watercolor after, which I'll show you some of those today, some of this stuff. And then I left room on the cards for a little quote. Okay, these are the first ones. And when I discovered this paper as being a really nice card making paper, I was like, oh, this is neat. All right, so one more. And this is just, these are an ink, what is it? It's a little woodblock print that I made. And then I watercolored each one and made these really fun little cards into a really fun card set. And then again, I made like a watercolor band. And there's just so many ways you can go about this, but these little card holders that are like perfect for holding this A2 card, they are from clearbags.com. So if you ever needed those. This one is a stencil with the watercolor wash, just having fun. So I'm going to get you started on the first one. I'll do the birds in a minute, but I'm going to first show you. Oh, thank you. You love the flower. I don't know which one you love, but they're fun. They're lots of fun. So the first thing I'm going to show you, I already talked about the printing and the cutting. And if you have any questions, please, I'll try to read them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do just like a freehand drawing, and I'm going to leave this open. So I'm going to take some Detail Master pigmented liners. I'm going to take the 5, and I'm just going to I can look at botanicals that I've already done, or I can just kind of wing it. And if you're someone who needs a reference, for sure, by all means, use what you have as a reference if you need that, for sure. But I'm going to take this and I'm going to start from this. So this is the back of the card. And I'm just going to start back here. And I'm going to start just freehand drawing. And I'm just going to kind of do a leaf shape. As you know me, I love my leaves. And then I'm going to do, let's see, another leaf. And I do want to leave some room, if I can, for a little saying or doesn't have to be a quote, but maybe just a greeting or a sentiment, because I might be doing, giving this to someone. I might even go up here. This is the back of the card. Why not decorate the back, right? Just kind of do the whole thing. And then here I'll do another leaf. And maybe I'll cross over and do one more kind of like this. I'm going to just do a little. This is totally, what's the word? Ad lib. I'm just going to kind of winging it. I don't know what I'm doing. But this is the fun way to create, is just kind of do it, right? And then you may not love everything you do, but there we go. So that is all I'm going to do on that. And what I could do is maybe take the lines a little bit in the stem, and I hope you can see this okay. It might be a little bit light right now. And then basically I'm just kind of thickening those lines where the stem was. Okay. Now this is where you do the ink first, and then you can do the color. Now I'm going to try these Japanese watercolors today. These are organza. I said it's got some beautiful mixing colors. Oh, you'll see what I mean when I do them. But I'm going to take those and I'm going to take the fusion brush, the number, let's see, I want the number 4. If I can find it. Oh, I don't know. Oh, there it is. So the number 4 is a good size, nice medium size to do this. And I'm also going to take the some water and I'm going to take, let's see what I've got here. I can't even tell what color that is, but I'm going to make plenty of color. That's a kind of an indigo color. It looks black, but it is an indigo. And this is like a beautiful green. It's like yum yum. Very pretty. I'm going to put a little bit in that. And then I'm going to put the blue. It's more like a very nice cyan blue. And I'm just going to put some in there. And then I'm going to put some water on these. These are the gold and the silver translucent colors. And I may throw in a little yellow in there, but we'll see. Maybe I'll put the yellow over here. Okay. So now I'm ready just to do some inking. Not some inking, but some watercolor in my leaves. So I'm just going to go ahead and start. And this has a smooth side, and I just realized I'm painting on the smooth side. The smooth side is going to take watercolor much differently than the rough side. So you're going to see the difference because on the other examples, I will do it with the rough. And I'm just going to take some watercolor and kind of do a wash of color in the leaves. And I don't need to make it perfect. It doesn't have to be inside the lines perfectly. In fact, leaving a little gap is fine. Or even going outside a little is fine. I'm so glad you're here, Janet. Yay. Oh, thanks, Lynn. I love playing too. Thanks for being here. So please, if you have any questions, I am here to answer. So right now I'm just doing that, like I said, a thin wash, and then I might just take a little dark color and kind of, pop it down at the bottom. And then what I might also do is throw in some of this gorgeous metallic color. Let's see, not too much. I might just pop it in like here and there in the leaves, like just drop it in while the color is wet. And I don't have to go dark, just a light wash and mix the colors up a little bit. So this is the Japanese Gansai watercolors. I think they're stunning. I'll put a little blue in there. What the heck? Just mix it up, be loose, be loosey-goosey. And then that will be it for this card for now, after I finish kind of putting in those lines, or not lines, colors. What am I talking about? You can even like do little dots, like kind of make it look granulated, even if it's not granulating watercolors. These are not. I always love granulating watercolors. So if you like granulation, which I do, you can even buy granulating medium and you can put it to any watercolor you already have. So you don't have to go out and buy granulating watercolors. Although, any excuse for me to buy watercolors, you know me, I'm on it. So there it is. That's just one idea right here. Simple, simple. And then when I close it, and you'll see it when it, let me kind of tell you a trick. When you get too much paint, and it's like a big puddle, you can vacuum it. We're going to call it vacuuming. You can vacuum it up the puddle without really disturbing the color much, but you can get rid of that extra puddle and just by taking your brush, a damp brush, and then taking a tissue and blotting it, and then it just kind of picks up that color just a little bit. Yeah, we'll let that be. Okay, so I'm gonna let that sit aside. So that's one, and then let it dry like this, and it should be nice. Should be good to go. Now let's start. I know what you want to do. You really want to. I know what you're gonna want to see. But the next one I'm going to do. This time I'm going to do it on the rough side, so you'll see the difference between the smooth and the rough. I'm going to kind of just show you there is a difference. Now what am I doing? Oh, so I'm going to do watercolor this time. I'm going to do a flower. I guess I'm going to try to do a flower. Let me just. I'm going to try to do it with these colors again, just to try something. I'm going to use the magenta. And you'll see the set of Gansai colors. They're perfect for mixing. That's why I selected these for Yasutomo for their ability to mix. So Deb says, Karen, have you seen the new watercolors that are a part of the metallic line? Which ones? Ooh, Deb, which ones? Because I want to know more colors, more watercolors. Just, yeah, write it in the chat if you could. That would be so great. So I'm going to take this little bit of, if you can see what I just made, I made out of the magenta, I mixed a little tiny bit of the cyan with the magenta, and I'm making a really gorgeous purple. I just love that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do like a little stylized flower. I have no idea. I'm just going to kind of make it up. I'm going to kind of push down my brush and I'm going to kind of just lift it up like this. Kind of like a, you can do this and put a little more magenta in there. You can kind of use your brush to make the shapes. And this fusion brush is fantastic for this because it comes to a nice fine point and then it also has lots of water holding capacity. And I'm going to just gonna hit this, I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to maybe twist the brush. And like I'm just twisting it. I'm kind of turning it with my finger, sort of like that. And then I'm going to take a little bit more of the blue. Oops, that's not the blue. What is the blue? There it is. And maybe do a darker purpley color in the middle. And I want to load my brush up pretty well here. If I don't get it loaded up, it's not going to last, or the stroke won't work. Okay, so I'm going to start it in the middle, and I'm just going to press down, and then I'm going to kind of lift it up. And I've made this beautiful little kind of a bellflower type. I don't know what those are called. Oops, I should have. There we go. There's like a flower that does this, and I don't remember what it's called now. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It just is something that it's just a flower that looks like a flower that I've seen. And I'm putting a little dark indigo right at the base just to give it a little contrast like that. And now I'm going to take, now this one, this is probably a big brush, but let me try taking some of that green and making like a bulb, like the beginning of a stem. And then I'm going to just drop it down. You can see this brush gives me the ability to make a stem, which is pretty amazing. I mix a little yellow with this and oops, a little bit of yellow to make a green. You see how these colors mix up so well? Look, I dirtied it up, but that's all right. And now I'm going to just make a little leaf, like a leaf, and it's going to be kind of a stylized leaf here. And oops, I should have loaded that up. And then just going to kind of do like that. This is a very weepy willow kind of, there we go. Interesting. I don't know what to think of that one. But again, I'm going to let that dry, or I could mop it up a little bit because it looks like I kind of overdid a little, vacuum that up just a little. And I'm going to put a little of this beautiful pearl color in there. I'm just going to just pop it in like 3 places and let that dry. So that's sometimes how I do these. And then I just kind of, then I'm going to let that dry. And then I'll work with a pen or like a, pigmented pen to get that. Let me just play with this, make this a little bit more whimsical. I want these little pieces coming out. There we go, like that. So you can see how you can play. Oh, the WC. So is it the one, it's this set. It's the set I think you're talking about with these. But yeah, anything you want to show me. You're watching from, so Suzanne is watching from Germany. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. All hours of the day. I mean, people here in the morning and at night. So I have to let this dry before I do anything more on it. Now this one is dried and you can see the water color is different on the smooth. It kind of just it acts differently. And when I fold it, my card looks pretty cool and it's nice on both sides. And then I can do a little word quote in here, or I can splatter. I may do a little bit more, but it's just an idea. So there's one right there. And this one, I could go open this up and kind of bring out maybe some, let's see, why not? This one, I think it needs something going this way, I guess. Maybe not. I tend to overdo things. No, Karen, leave it alone. Can't leave it alone. It's hard to know when to stop sometimes. So I'm going to just let that one sit and let it marinate for a while. It's got to dry before I do anything else. Now I'm going to show you the steps on the birds, okay? This is the birds. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I wanted you to know the total process of these birds because they're so much fun. All right. First thing you do is you draw out a sketch of the birds. It's cocktail hour. How happy. That's so, oh, so the Ganzai Tambi from, oh, goodness. Kuretake, they make a beautiful metallic set. Yes, absolutely. So this is what I did and I'm going to tell you, this came not from me, this idea came from Diane Antone Studio. If you follow her YouTube channel, she has a video on how to make watercolor birds. She did it on regular watercolor paper. And I thought, I'm going to try it on this Hosho paper. And I love the way it works. I really do. I love it. So what I did is I just sketched out a bird with a pencil and then I marked it with the marker so I can really see. And I do have a light box and I lay it down and I put the card over it, over the light box, and I trace. I am lazy. Once I get a sketch I like, I just can repeat it over and over. You can, if you don't have a light box, you can use a window or you can use something, because it will work. You'll get some light. If you get some light behind it, you'll be able to see. And the other thing that I like doing is flipping the bird. That sounded weird. Sorry. Anyway, flipping the paper so that the bird will be in the other direction. So the light box, when it's illuminated, the bird will be facing the other way. And that's how I can get my birds to be in different directions. See, I got one going this way, one going that way. So the first thing you need to do after you've done your sketch, you do it with a number 5 or 3 pencil. Everybody's so nice. So much fun. Yes, Diana is fun to watch. I tell you, I get inspiration from everywhere. And if I remember who I was inspired by, I will always give credit where credit is due because I don't create in a cave. Who does, right? Once in a while, you'll come up with an idea by yourself, but most of the time, it's just kind of, I just get inspired by other people. I mean, there's artists here that inspire me all the time. I mean, Tiffany is one of them. In fact, some of her, whoops, these little watercolor flowers, these little that I did with the Hosho paper, are done kind of a Tiffany style. Where in this time though, I might show you these too because these I did with a one-stroke brush, kind of a one-stroke style. But the idea is to cut them out and put them on other things. But this Hosho paper, Mashi Hosho, is awesome for fussy cutting. So, and I think Tiffany is the queen of fussy cutting, right? I think she is. So never heard of it until I took Tiffany's class. So let me show you what you need to do. So this is the total Diane style here. What she showed, and I'm going to use a different watercolor here. I'm going to use our Niji, the studio set. I'm also going to use some Fine Tech metallics because I think these are incredible. So we've got, and you can mix and match, by the way. If you have these inside your tray, like your palette, and this is a Yasutomo palette, by the way. I love this one. It's got five big wells and 5 smaller wells. So you've got 10 wells to mix up your colors. And then I've got my studio set, which has every color you need, and it's great for mixing as well. So I'm going to get those out, and I'm going to put, hope you can see this. Oh, Inktense, yummy. Oh, look at that. Inktense, yes, that's a great idea. Now, let me explain on the Hosho, it's a little more tender than watercolor paper. So like 140-pound watercolor paper or sized watercolor papers are going to take a beating. So you can use colored pencils and you can scrape, you can erase a lot. I don't like to erase too much on this paper because it will lift the fibers. They'll start to break apart. So just be mindful when that's why I do the tracing because I don't want to be erasing. So here's what you do. On this one, I should have had clean water. Okay, you want to take water in your brush. I'm going to show you it's dirty water, but it should work. So you take it and you make it really, so you kind of put it your brush in and don't wipe it off the sides like you would normally do. Just do it. Dip it and then you load it up and you put the water inside the sketch. Okay, and I'm just going to go right to the edge of my pencil line. And I'm really going to saturate it. And I want it to be almost like a puddle, like a little pool of water. And really what I should have done before, and I didn't, and I'm going to do it now while I'm thinking about it. is I do have some colors I want to put in my thing here before I start making that puddle. The reason is you should have your colors kind of ready, and I should have cleaner water than this, but I'm just going to go with what I have. Okay, I got some colors, that's fine. So now I'm going to just put the color, again, fill this up with clear water. You're just fill the body of the bird. Now this shape is easy to do. I mean, you could draw your own shape, or there are stencils that people make. I know Megan Quinlan. I have a stencil with a bird that's a bird. There's other people, or you can just get a bird from the internet and then trace it, the outline only. You know, just get a shape of a bird that you like, and then just make a tracing, and then keep it real simple and make a nice, just simple line, and that's how you can get your bird shape. Basically, I copied this one from Diane. She just made a very like a pot-bellied bird with a big tail. I mean, it was pretty simple. But you can do any shape you want. So now I've got this thing totally filled, and if you can see, it's water. You can hope you can see that. It's just very shiny with water. Okay, now I'm going to take my color and I'm dropping it in. I'm not going to brush it in. I'm dropping it in the paint or into the puddle. And I've got to have color here, lots of it. And I should have done. This is an interesting, by the way, this is an interesting uh, thing to see when what colors spread and which ones don't. You'll notice in your collection of watercolors, some colors like to push other colors out of the way, and some colors like to just sit there. So this is a really good, way you'll discover. And it's as tempting as it is to go want to just brush this color. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just I'm just going to let the thing happen on the paper. And believe me, even though it looks weird right now, it looks gorgeous when it dries. So I'm just going to do the outline kind of with this. I've got some indigo here, and I'm just going to kind of do the outline of the bird or the border, the outside. And I'm just tapping this color in. And really, I kind of do want to brush it, but I'm not gonna, I promise. I'm promising myself not to brush it. And I want it to go to the very edge of the bird, okay? I'm trying to duplicate what I did. Now you'll also see, well, with the other one, you'll see. All right, as much as I want to move that around, I'm not. Okay, now I'm going to take my colors, my metallic colors, and I've got these gorgeous colors here. Got this blue, and I've got this green. And I'm going to get those nice and wet. Maybe a little gold would look pretty too. Now these fine techs do dissolve very fast. I mean, they're pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop that in. Same thing, just drop, 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 tap, tap, tap. And I'm going to go a little lighter now where the wing area is with this kind of a turquoisey metallic. You don't have to do the metallics, but I love them. And then I'm going to do some very light blue. This is like a silver gray blue. Tap, tap, tap. This is it. That's it. And maybe just a little bit of silver. Oh, I said gold, didn't I? There we go. So that warms it up just a little. Putting a little here and there. And now I'm going to let that be. You can see it looks a little blotchy, right? That's okay. Because now I might mop and vacuum like Diane says. I might just do a little vacuuming here without I'm not disturbing the edge, and I'm going all just kind of making sure I have the whole edge of that sketch filled in. I can see over here I don't have it, so I'm going to just do a little spot right there as I vacuum that little puddle. I'm also going to sort of spread it out a little bit, just a little bit of vacuuming, and then I'm going to let that dry. This is where patience is a virtue. There we go. Now you can also do, if you want to, in fact, I'm going to do it. I didn't go all the way to the edge on this. I'm going to go to the edge right there. I see a little pencil. Basically, I'm covering up the pencil completely. Now I'm going to open up the card. And I have this little mound I put it on. Like I want the bird to be on something, like on the earth somewhere. It needs to be somewhere. It can't just be, floating. So I put a little wash of brown. Kind of, it looks like it's on a rock or something, or it could be on a branch. You could make a branch and making sure I don't get it under the thing. And then I'm going to make a little shadow, just a little bit of the shadow on under the bird so it looks like, it looks grounded like that. Let that sit. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's done because I did do one earlier in similar colors. And this will probably dry by the end of our session, maybe. We'll see. I'm going to put this up here just to let it dry with the other stuff. Here is one that I did going in a different direction, of course, but this is the one I did about an hour ago. All right, so that's what it looks like after it does its thing. Okay, these are fine tech. Thank you. Yes, Deb is right. They are fine tech. Yes, and a branch of the leaf would look gorgeous. Oh yeah, we should do that. So this is it. You can see it kind of buckled a little bit, and I'll share with you what my little trick that I do for that. But now that it's dry, it kind of see how to just sort of blended really gorgeous. Like, wow, I just love the way that came out. But it needs something, right? It needs help. It needs stuff. So first thing I do is I'm going to detail I'm going to just where I drew the legs, I'm going to just go ahead and draw the legs in. And you can put little darker spots up here and then the little feet or the whatever they call them. Talons, maybe? I don't know what they're called. I think they're called, somebody might be able to tell me. And then I'm going to put a circle where the eye is, even though you can barely see it, it's dark. And I'm going to do a little outline of the beak, which I already painted yellow. And then that looks great. Now it needs some more stuff, I think. It needs some light colors. So what I do is I'm going to I'm going to try this pen today. I have this love-hate affair with white opaque pens. So they're just driving me crazy. But this one is one that called a manga liner. Let me just see if it starts up. I haven't used it in a while. So all right, so you just want to get these flowing. And if you just kind of play with them, but it's similar to the Molotow and the Posca, but I like this. I like this one because it's opaque. There we go. Now I got some, no, gotta keep it. Nope, still not. But this isn't the freshest pen. I've had this for over a year, maybe a year and a half. There, I'm getting a line now. Okay. So that's basically, you just want to have some black paper and kind of have it around. So let's make some decorations on this thing. It could be, you could use you don't have to use one of these. You could use other colors. I'm going to put a white dot right where the eye is. That's the first thing. Okay. Then I'm going to make what do I want to make? I'm going to make like where I see darks. Let me just clean this mess up here. I kind of see where I want to do some doodling. There we go. Okay. I see that there's some dark areas that I kind of want to fill in a little. So I'm going to just make a line. And if it doesn't make a good line, I'll have to use a different pen. Oh, it worked okay. Okay, so I just made a line. And I'm just going to go follow the line I just made. Oop, running out of ink. All right, I'm going to have to bring out my Molotow probably. Because this one needs to be, you have to these need maintenance. Don't just set them aside and think leave them alone. They don't like that. They need care. They need TLC. That one doesn't. That needs real TLC. Sometimes they need to go to the hospital. Some of these pens. Oh, but the ones that I really love are the Molotow. But I just do need to. I should have probably done this ahead of time. But let's see. I'm gonna this one definitely needs a hospital. And then let's see what else we could get. I think this one should work. Yeah, that's fine. These have also interchangeable nibs and they're refillable. So that's why I like them, even though they're fussy. There we go. So I got some lines there. I like that. And then I think I'd like to see some lines here. And I'm just kind of randomly doing this. I don't really have any plan. I just kind of go with what looks cool. I think I'm going to put little lines like right there. Curved lines, they're so relaxing to do. Yeah, like that. And that's it for that one. Maybe I'll add a necklace. Let's just do that. So I'm going to put some little dots here. Just to give it like a neck. You can see, define the neck a little bit. There, like that. That one's cute. And if I wanted to, and I'm gonna, I see an opportunity to make a line going up the tail, maybe 3 lines going up the tail. You know, and you can get as detailed or as basic as you want, really. You don't have to, you know, go crazy. It's really cute, just like that. I think that looks really cute, that bird. I love it. So now you see how I did the birds. Yes, you can change the nibs, and I love that it's refillable. And really, someday I should do a video on just how to maintain these pens because they're a pain. But they are so fun. The actual outcome is just amazing. So now this one, look, as it's drying, look how gorgeous those colors are blending on that paper. Just gorgeous. But I do see where I need to vacuum. Do some house cleaning on this one. It's just not gonna dry until tomorrow, probably. Here we go. Suck that up. There we go. Okay. All right, so that one is going to sit aside. Now let me go to the ones that I had done a little bit ago. So you can see the series, and then you can decorate your envelopes to match your birds. Now I'm going to go to this one here, the one that I did a little earlier, and I'm just going to show you how I like to layer things so that they're not one dimension or one layer. Okay, so that, I know I did another one somewhere. I don't know where I put it, but anyway, doesn't matter. I'm going to take this number 5, or I can take a thicker one. What I love about these pens, they come in all these different widths. And these are pigmented, so they don't smear if you get water color on it. And I have to make sure this is completely dry before I do any drawing. It needs to be bone dry. So you can go with white, but I'm going to, yes, I'll start with the outline first. So I'm going to start with the base, like in the direction of the growth. I'm just going to kind of loosely outline this beautiful flower. Go in the direction of the growth of the plant. There we go. And then kind of wonkiness is good. You don't want it perfect. And I'm going to just go in and do the same here, a little wonkiness, maybe kind of bring it up like that. See, just did it like I made it so it wasn't perfect. All right. And now I'm going to take the leaves and I'm going to see, I see this leaf that needs to be defined. And I'm going to go outside of it a little bit. There. I like that. Now it's time to probably bring out some lights because it needs that light, the little contrast. Nope, that's the dead one. Here we go. Okay. So this one I'm going to take where those silver areas were. I'm just going to highlight those even more. Just where those silver dots are. And maybe a couple of little dots. So that was simple, very simple to finish. I think that one's done. I could do one more thing. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this little, go right on the outside of the line. I'm not covering the black line. I'm going outside it. So it kind of looks like I've highlighted that area. Yeah, like this, you can see. Okay. I just went outside the black. Now this left me room for a handwritten thing because I love doing that. Now, let me show you something about splattering because I've been kind of splattering lately. And can you heat set? Question. I don't know. I don't think heat setting would be good. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think any of these supplies I use today would require heat setting, but if it would be heat set, it would be low heat for sure. So I'm going to talk about splattering for a minute, just a minute, because of course I'm going to make a mess when I do that. Probably should put it under a piece of paper, you know, stick a piece of paper under them before I totally make a mess. But I want to sort of get this. I don't want anything on this, so I'm going to have to use my hand as a kind of as a mask, or I could use a piece of like a paper towel as a mask. But I don't want the mask to be like, there we go. I'll just do this, kind of like that. I want this area to be white so I can do the lettering. And I want to do some splattering. So the first thing, since I'm going to just use what I already had in my dish, is I'm going to take the medium-sized brush. This is the number 4. I'm going to get a medium-sized splatter when I use a medium-sized brush. I'm going to get a large splatter when I use a large brush, and I'm going to get a small splatter when I use a small brush. Figure that, right? I've never done that before. Oh, yes, the description of the names. Okay, so I hope I'm telling you, this is the fusion number 4. Fusion number 4. And I'm going to just go ahead and splatter, tapping. I loaded it up, and I'm just going to splatter kind of randomly here. That's the medium-sized splatter, okay? I'm going to clean that brush out, and I'm going to use the large brush to show you. You're going to do the same exact move, but you're just going to use a larger brush. You're going to load it the same. Oh, I don't want that blue. No, no, no. Okay. I'm going to use a little bit more pink maybe, or just add a little blue to it. Okay. Now I'm going to just do the same thing. I'm going to do a large, so you can see the same move, but I make a larger splatter. Okay. I'm just going to do it like that. I don't want to over splatter. I mean, you can overdo it. Then I'm going to use a small one. This is the number 3. I mean, I can even go smaller. There's a 1 and a 2. Let's see. I've got the 2. Let's do the 2. Okay. So the 2 fusion brush, doing the same thing. I'm going to just take a little of that blue, mix it up, and I'm going to do a very light, I might do some metallic because it needs the metallic. I'm going to use this kind of purple, throw a little metallic in there, just a touch, not too much. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to get a small splatter. Oh, that I lied. That was a big splatter because I overloaded it. But I'm going to get a very tiny, fine splatter. And I don't know if you see it. It's very, very tiny compared to the others. And it's just because I'm using a little brush and I'm kind of delicately tapping. There it is. That's all I wanted. And you can see that soft mask kind of, I left the area to do some of that. So I'm gonna let that dry completely. And of course, look what I did. I splattered all the way out here. So when you do that, you just have to go with it and keep splattering it like you meant it, right? And you start hitting other things, other artworks with it. So there it is. Now I like that one, and a little, I won't do a hand lettered quote in front of you because it takes a lot of concentration, so much concentration, and my tongue sticks out when I letter, and I can't talk at the same time. So I thought it's a little difficult. So this is the manga letter. I'm gonna just do a little, I feel like doing a little line work here. Just need some more detail like that. Oh yeah, now we're talking. That is what I'm looking for. Just like that. That's what I needed. And that one is done. Once I do the lettering, and I'll show that later. I'll just do a little, there it is. And then I can put my little stamp back here. It's fun. It's done. It's a note card. It's ready to go. And this bird is ready. And what I like to do on the envelope, so let me just kind of show you now that this one's done. I'm going to move that out of the way. So when I do the little envelope, I take my envelope and I make a bird that's going to face, basically going to be talking to this bird. So this bird I'm going to make on this side is going to be on this side, kind of facing that way. And I just take the bird that I already have and using the colors that I already used. And I'm just going to make a random bird. And it's going to be kind of a, let's see, maybe, whoops, that one's a fat bird. That's going to be a fat one. Oh, it's all right. It can be a fat one. A happy bird. I'm gonna put a little of that blue that I used right in here. And I don't want to put too much. And maybe the tail's gonna have to go up there. But it can be really loose because it's not a detailed bird by any means. That's it, probably for that one. And then what I'll do is when that dries, I'll try it now. I'll add the beak and which one am I gonna use? Oh, the 3. 3, Detail Master 3 pigment liner. And I'm going to make this one go up towards the address. The beak goes up towards the address. So it's kind of pointing to it. And then I'm just going to put the little legs down there and let that dry. And I'll probably add something when that dries. But that envelope then will go with this bird. And I could do some details as well. All right. So it's 10 to 3. It's 10 till. I'm trying to see if do you have any questions while we're here? We've got 10 more minutes. Let's see. Oh, And I usually like to take, so let's see if I can find that one. The one I started, the very first one that I did with you. Okay, there it is. This one with the smooth. I can do some things like add. So you do your first layer. Here, I'll open it up. And you want to do a second layer. So you can do it with metallic, or you can do it with anything you want. And I'm going to take a little bit of this metallic color. Ooh, gold. I'm all over the place. I see gold and I go, ooh. You can mix this metallic with colors and it makes it really deep color. So pretty. All right. I'm just going to do a second layer on some of these leaves just to give a little dimension or depth. Well, just another layer. And then of course I have to wait for that to dry, but I love that. Put a little of this blue over here in there, just drop it in. Like I mentioned before, this smooth side just takes watercolor way differently. It does work, and when you put this paper through an inkjet or a laser printer, please put it through with the smooth side and follow your printer's whatever the manufacturer's directions are, because you need to really follow that. Otherwise, you will be faced with a paper jam. And I come from experience because I had a little paper jam. I had to pretty much dismantle my printer because I did it wrong. So, but it's okay if you just follow the directions on how paper handling directions. So I'm taking the Ganzai. I don't know if you see, I don't know if you can see it in the screen or not, probably not. But I'm just doing another kind of a layer just to add more contrast to this piece. And I may splatter and I may not, but I think I will add some highlights to these leaves as well, because I just love layers. And then these little pieces are so nice. They're lightweight because they're not heavy, like heavy cardstock. They will go, I don't know if it's an airmail, but I believe you can get better postage with a lighter weight, I believe. It used to be that way. I don't know if it is anymore. Maybe somebody can tell me that. I will read it in the chat. All right, so I did that, and then I'm just going to take a little bit and darken the stem, maybe with a brown. If I want to make a brown out of this, I can just mix the yellow, mix everything together, and you get this brown, kind of a mud color, which is what you want when you're painting a stem. You want it to have a kind of a dark color. There we go. I like that, just like that. I think that's fine the way it is. Well, the last little thing I like to do is I like to use a little chop thing. And I think I have a video on my YouTube channel about this, but I wanted to share with you the two inks that I like. This one is called Red Geranium by Ranger. And this one is Tsukineko Tulip Red. Now, I was using the Red Geranium for quite some time, but I love, a dealer of Washi Hosho paper. It's Christy, that's a good question. Um, we're gonna have to find out. And I know that there is, I'm sure there is. So this is something that Christy, if you email me, which is creative@yasutomo.com, or you can email Phoebe, or just, I think any info, like if you just type yasutomo.com, info@yasutomo, or you go on Yasutomo's website and we can find that out for you. But I'm going to show you the tulip red I like because it's kind of an orangey red, very similar to the Hanko, the chops that are in Japan. And I don't like the oil that's in those, and they're kind of yucky. So I like using this. It's a pigmented pad, so it's got a nice color to it. And when you do one of these, you just want to place it on your piece to where it kind of makes sense. Sometimes you'll see it on the backside. It might be kind of cool on the backside. Yes, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a space for a quote here, and I'm going to put it right there. I know it sounds weird, but that is my signature. I think it looks good there because it kind of balances out the composition. And this little guy was done with a little erase. It's just an eraser, and then I don't have to put anything else on there. And I'll do some little highlighting, and then the card will be a finished card with some quotes, of course. I can't not write on it. So there, I'm going to show you some more of these, and if you have any questions, I'll just kind of bring these back out. And because we only have a couple of minutes before we go. I do want to mention, someone had asked me, I think on Instagram, that about where to buy these products, if you're in the US. Now, over, Europe and New Zealand and other places, there are freight forwarders and companies that will sell, they'll ship it. But Yasutomo has a shopping site that's, other than our retailers, we do have retailers, but there's also for products that are not carried by the retailers. We have a Shopify site. If you just go to Shopify, just type Yasutomo Shopify in the search, you'll find it. You'll find the store because it's not on the website. I don't think it's easy to find on the website, but just type, and if Phoebe was here, she could write it in because she's fabulous at that, and I wouldn't be able to help you on that. Sorry. But there is a way to get to this paper, the Mashi Hosho. There is a way to get it now because it is available, and I'm not sure who's carrying it. So, did you carve it? Yes, I did. So, Kathy, I carved this out of that. I'm going to show you. I'm going to grab this stuff. Okay. So if you go on to like I'm just going to grab this stuff. If you go over to, you can get it on Amazon, and it's a company named Seed, 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 and they make this stuff. This is the material. It's smooth and it has a colored layer so that you can see what you're carving through. And this one I like because it has the black with the white. But it comes in blocks like this size. I've already cut pieces off, but let's say that'd be the full size right here, like a 4x6. This will last forever. You can make tons of these little chops. And what I did is just used a normal speedball tool, and you cut it out backwards. And what was someone had said, one day alive on brushes and more advanced stamp carving. Yes, it's a good idea. That'd be fun. And the brushes. We do have also, and I didn't show them to you today because I didn't have a need to, but Seed. Go on to Seed or look it up, and they're probably, I'm not sure how much they are, but they're kind of pricey, but this is the best. It leaves the most sharp image of anything I've ever seen. Okay, so yes, thank you, Jan. Thank you so much. Please show how to get rid of buckling. Okay, very good. I'm glad that I'm so glad you're here. You reminded me of something I said I would do. Okay, so when you get a buckle, something that's buckled, which happens a lot. Okay, I'm going to bring out a little thing, something that was made for me, but you don't need to have that. You don't need this, but I'm going to bring it out anyway, just to show you. It's pretty fancy. It's pretty cool, but you can use books. I'm going to grab one more thing. I'm going to have leaving my table just for a minute. I'm showing you the actual technique that I use. If you have a press of some sort or just heavy books is fine too. So I've got this little gadget here. It looks like a torture device, but it is a little book press. Lots of pressure. Yeah, it dries things flat as can be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one that's buckled. All right, this one's pretty buckled. This is the one I showed you. Remember, this is now dry. Let's see what else. This one's, it's very buckled. Okay, so I'm going to do two of these because they are both, I think I can do two. Nope, I'm going to just do the one. I do have a bigger press. Arnold Grummer made a beautiful press. The US prices are expensive. I know, it's terrible. It's getting worse, but I don't know. Well, hopefully that will work out. Okay, so let me just clear this off, and I'm going to show you how simple this process is on unbuckling your papers. All right, so you have a buckled piece, and that could be watercolor paper or anything. I also have a piece of deli paper. Okay, deli paper. I just have it's already folded in half, which is handy. So it's basically I'm going to fit my card in the deli paper. I sometimes will do two up because this little unit, I have this small unit, it's not big enough to hold the two. But anyway, there we go. Now, what you do is you got to make sure this is completely dry. And you're going to take your paper, and I'm going to take a fine mist sprayer. Don't use a regular house sprayer. Use a fine mist sprayer and just spritz it and give it a good spritz and evenly coat the paper. See how it's even curling more? Yeah, that's good. All right. And then you put it in your, oop, make sure you don't get everything wet, other colors everywhere. There you go. Take your dry deli paper and then just fold it up. And if you want to put a piece of deli paper inside, you can, but I don't think it's necessary. I'm just going to put it here and it goes inside my little press, right inside. And then it just, I crank that sucker down and leave it for a good hour, 2 hours. It is fancy. My sibling made it for me, in all kinds of woods and stuff. But you can make one. People make all kinds of handmade different ones. But yeah, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Gorgeous, and I keep it. It's like a little piece that's functional art, basically. So I set that aside and I leave it till it's completely dry. You can do stacks also if you wanted to stack, but you just want to stack them evenly. So like this one, it didn't really buckle much, but it did buckle a little. I would just spray it and then, you can do the other one. This one's kind of buckled too. And yes, just do a batch and stack them, put some deli paper in between each one and let them dry completely and you're good to go. Oh, my splatters are still splattered. All right, so how is everybody? It is 3 o'clock. Okay, a little bit past 3. I had a great time with all of you, and I really thank you for joining. Now, um, so if you have any questions, type them in the chat, and then hopefully we can get to you. But I hope to see you next time. So please write down. Oh, thank you, Vera. Thank you, and thank you so much for joining. And some familiar faces or familiar people. I know what your faces look like. I just don't see you. And some old friends are here and familiar people. And I really thank you all for joining me and allowing me to play. And I hope that this session inspired you to try Mashi Hosho and just use it with, if you have watercolor paper, just do it on watercolor paper as well. So have a wonderful weekend and we'll see you in 2 weeks. We're going to be doing the same thing and something else in 2 weeks. And if you have requests, please send them my way. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are. So thank you and have a wonderful day, everybody. Have a great weekend. And I think I'm gonna have to sign off. I got to figure out how. Good to give. I think I'm gonna have to sign off. I'm trying to figure it out.